Hello, 'tis I, Fat Cow, maker of dolls, practitioner of voodoo, mistress of the dark arts. I have a thought. Why does Foodie Beauty have such a hard-on for Beck and Beck's stories of abuse against Amber Lynn Reid? Why does Foodie Beauty categorically claim or state that, in her opinion, what Beck went through was not abuse? Why is having to wipe somebody's butt not considered abusive servitude, let's say, when somebody is somewhat incapacitated or at the very least proclaims to be somewhat incapacitated? Why would having to care for somebody who alleges to be incapacitated not be seen as emotional and psychological warfare even? Why would having to do everything for somebody who claims to be incapacitated not being seen in Foodie Beauty's eyes as somewhat detrimental to somebody's psychology and emotional well-being? Maybe Beck's claims are a bit too close to home for our Foodie Beauty. Maybe thinking that somebody does all the manual labour on behalf of somebody who claims to be incapacitated or who is somewhat incapacitated, seeming as if it's not voluntary, let's say, and done with love, and is done because the person feels like they have no choice, or that if they don't do these things they will be punished, kind of reflects maybe a dynamic between Foodie and maybe Salah. Maybe the thought that Beck was not doing all these things because they love and care for Amber, but because they were in fear and they were brainwashed, and there was no modicum of it being out of the kindness of their heart. Scares Foodie somewhat, because in her deluded state she thinks that Salah looks after her needs in this way because he likes to, he wants to, he cares about her, and not because she has some financial control over him, which we would call financial abuse, and because if he doesn't, he will literally get his balls bitten off by Foodie. Maybe this is why Foodie has such a hard-on for Beck and Beck's claims, is because a part of her, there is a small part of her, that the bit that doesn't deny everything and has decided to colour the palette of her world in a nice, cheerful, rosy way, and not to see it in the very dank, grey, mudded way it really is, that there is no care by Salah, and that he doesn't love her, and he doesn't want the best for her, and that he's only doing these things because he has no fucking choice. The financial, psychological and emotional abuse that Salah must be facing at the hands of Foodie is huge, and while some might argue that it's also back at her in some regards, particularly now that he has agreed to appear on videos. It seems to indicate that some sort of deal was struck, and I would imagine it would go along the lines of, you have to pay off your debt and save money so that I can go to Canada. We agreed at the very beginning of this arrangement that the end goal was going to Canada, or at the very least I got to legitimately travel. In order for you to pay off your debt and to save money to either go to Canada or legitimately travel, or both, you are now no longer allowed to spend money on any food that is outside of the normal 3 meals a day that I eat. So if you want the extra stuff, if you want the 4 Hardee's burgers, if you want the Chipotle, if you want the reasonably portioned taquitos, or whatever they were called, that is an actual normal, legitimate portion for most people, not an entree, but an actual main meal that is in no way disappointing to the majority of people, you are going to have to pay for it, or get people to pay for it, outside of any earnings you make on YouTube. Therefore, get your visas to pay for your extra food, your fast food, your junk food. I'm only going to pay for takeaway from local family-owned establishments that cost roughly $1 Kuwaiti, possibly $2 at the most, and it's got to be food I like. Anything extra, get somebody else to pay for it. This current grift, I mean, anybody who pays to it, and that is your choice, it's like giving money to a heroin addict to put more of the drug into their veins. You are financing an addiction. You're not financing content. Our content is financed by the very definition of YouTube. If you're monetized, your content is financed. The ads pay us. You don't pay us. Your chats, your super subs, your whatever they're called, the super chats, whatever, your memberships pay us. Anything extra is a bonus, so you don't need to ask your viewers to give more money for content. You're not fulfilling your side of the financial agreement. If you go to work, you get paid for going to work and doing your job. That's what your salary is for, turning up and doing your job. What Foodie is doing in terms of, if it was the office environment, is she's going to work, but then sitting there all day on her arse and demanding extra money beyond her salary to do the actual tasks required of her in her job. I mean, it's against terms of service to ask for your viewers to pay you money directly circumnavigating YouTube. It's against terms of service also by PayPal to ask people to pay for friends and family, because that means that PayPal doesn't take their percentage of the agreement you take with PayPal when you open an account. Plus, if it's from friends and family, you cannot ask for the money to be returned should services not be fulfilled. When you pay money into PayPal for, say, you make a doll and you sell it and the person pays from PayPal, should they not receive the doll, or the doll is not what they asked for, they can ask PayPal for the money back. and put in a dispute for either the service to be fulfilled or the money to be returned. If you pay in friends and family, you cannot get that money back. So say you pay $10 for 5 minutes on the treadmill, and Foodie says she does it but you didn't see it, so claims to do it. You can ask for that $10 back if you pay through the normal way. If you pay through friends and family, you cannot ask for that money back via PayPal, and you have to rely on good faith from the person you sent the money to, in other words, Foodie, to get your money back. And as you know, and as she said, once you've given me money, it's mine to do as I want. Now, I don't have a hard-on for Foodie receiving money. It's none of my concern. I don't actively, if you do the work, you get the money. That's how it works. But it's the doing the work, so making the effort. Foodie has gotten so far into the grift that not only is she getting paid just for appearing on screen, she's now demanding to get paid for doing anything while on screen. And now, in addition, you're paying her to make content you've required. So not only is she just turned up and gets paid for it, and now asking for money to do what is the basic job that she should be doing, she's getting you to make the content by saying, go to this restaurant, eat this food. She's doing sweet FA. And you guys are not only funding the content, you are deciding what the content is. You're providing the content. Her entire chat over mukbangs is entirely dictated by the comments. Without comments, without people asking the questions, she has nothing to say either. And we always knew that the only thing Foodie has to talk about is food, but now it's developed in talking about money in every topic. Is this food worth it? Look at this mansion. If you had the lifestyle. She's become money obsessed, not as obsessed as food. No, that would never happen. When she listed the things that she was blessed for, food came above friends and family. But now money has become a very contentious issue within Shantopoulos, and quite frankly, this is what a sinking ship looks like, and this is what somebody very, very desperately trying to climb up the mast to the crow's nest in order to stay on the sinking ship to the very, very, very last conceivable second. I apologise somewhat for this one-shot unedited ramble or verbal diarrhea or just stream of consciousness that has spewed forth from myself. But I just, needed to vocalise a few things. However, I would very, very, very much like to thank each and every one of you who showed concern and support and empathy for me feeling unwell lately. It means more to me than you would ever realise. Additionally, for those of you who shared your stories about your similar experiences, my heart goes out to you. My fellow spoonies, we are not alone. And there is a little community here of people who legitimately care about each other. And that means more to me than you will possibly understand. So here's to a better day, and here's to a brighter or better future for all of us. Thank you so very, very much.